Welcome to Soul Harmonics Healing Temple and Cosmic Classroom.
Hello, brothers and sisters of Earth. I am Jenna Ajna Love, and welcome to Cosmic Classroom, where you are reignited to the frequency of your soul through the remembrance and activation of the divine love, light, power, and wisdom that you hold within your very own physical body and spiritual temple. In today's curriculum and teaching, I'm going to be talking about Starseed-Lightworker Indigo attacks as we start to raise our vibrational frequency and we start breaking out of the lower frequency fences and frequency bands of the third dimension. Those who are on very high missions during this ascension and liberation on planet Earth are highly targeted, attacked, and prone to entity attachments, psychic attacks, vampirism, and all kinds of things that can feel very, very scary. I open this session and sacred container in service to the sacred law of one and call upon our beloved holy presence of Mother, Father, God, and all benevolent angels, guardians, and spirit guides to connect and anchor into this now moment. Please generate a field of love, light, and protection holding the crystal star aurora frequencies. Let us set this space in complete consecration to God's eternal laws and call upon the forces of light to baptize and bathe us in the holy Azothian fire water of Mother, Father, God, and Christos Sophia. We anchor, lock, and seal the living light God Creator code within this hologram and ask for the divine guidance and protection of our beloved holy presence of Source to keep us safe from negative invaders, entities, and outside influences, interferences, dark energies, curses, spells, and all inorganic forces. We ask that you seal and protect our guardian field in this now time 0 point portal. Our authority is taken as the Christ through God's sovereign law. We command this space as sacred in the name of Mother, Father, God, and consecrated to the eternal light of organic creation. And so it is. I get a lot of questions. I work with a lot of beautiful people who are looking for just some answers and some things that they can do to protect themselves. You know, we live in a time that is very, very confusing. We are starting to access higher stations of identity, and we are starting to access our multidimensionality. And what that means is that we are tapping into higher dimensions above the third dimensional reality that we have been confined within for a very, very long time. And so now we're accessing 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, and we're starting to have memories and activations and triggers and things that keep coming up that are actually crossing from different timelines, different parallels, different stations of identity. And so as we raise our vibrational frequency, we are also more highlighted because our light body becomes activated. And so the negative ETs and the negative controllers can actually see this occurring, and then we become highly targeted, especially the Starseeds and the Lightworkers and the Indigos who are holding higher genetics and higher DNA codes and potentials within our DNA. So we are highly targeted because we are specifically here to stand up to the darkness, to integrate the darkness and the polarity, and to shine the light on the darkness, to anchor in the higher codes, and truly help all of the beautiful humans and species on this planet. There are many different variations of beings here on this planet right now because Earth is such a massive genetic library. But we are specifically here to awaken the sleeping masses from out of their amnesia and show them the darkness, help them to remember these galactic memories of our trauma and all of the horrible things that we've gone through. It is not an easy role, but we have been trapped within this fallen matrix, and this frequency fence that's been around us has blocked us from our memories. And what that does is it's blocking us from our true healing. We are storing all of this pain and trauma and all of these memories within us of all the things that we have gone through since the beginning of our seeding from our founder races. And we've been lied to, and history has been rewritten, and we've been blocked from our power. And for us to truly be able to evolve, we have to heal. We have to know the darkness exists. We have to know the polarity, the light and the dark. We have to know about the trauma that has been inside of our cells and our memories, our DNA, our Akash, right? We're holding on to this, all these memories. And it's very clear, anybody who's tuning into my channel, it's very clear at this point in time what's taking place on planet Earth, right? So it's clear that, for eons of time, and even in just our current history, if you look back at the last hundreds of years, it's just been war after war after war, after trauma, cataclysms, right? Look now at the current landscape. Look at what is happening. Okay, that is not normal. That is not normal. We are made from a benevolent force. We were made in the image of our Creator, in the image of God, and in love. So everything that's opposite of love is what you're witnessing in the external terrain. And so there are these negative groups. These are service to self groups who have fallen, okay? Fallen angels. They have their consciousness has fallen so low that they've became, angry and forceful and hateful. And everything that you see playing out is because they have a fallen consciousness. And so now in our universe, you have the Antichrist forces and the Christ forces. You have the service of self and the service of others. Okay. And so, what you're seeing playing out right now is the service to self beings are being blasted with light, and humanity is awakening finally to the truth, that we've actually been existing in this fallen soul prison for eons of time. And so we are going to be highly targeted if we are stepping up, speaking the truth, if we are sharing the ancient wisdom and anchoring the light at the highest capacity. So that way humanity and all the innocent souls on this beautiful planet and in this solar system can finally be liberated. Okay, that is what is happening right now. So many of the starseeds, including myself, are going to be highly targeted, highly attacked. Energetic vampirism, electronic harassment, negative entities. Okay, there is what's called astral tagging, where these beings put astral bots inside of your light field, in your light body, and they can track where you're at. They track what you're doing, what you're saying, and they try to shut you down. Now, I talk about this often, and this isn't something that is designed to cause fear. This is a real thing that is taking place. And the reason why I'm bringing this out into the awareness is because I work with a lot of people, and I've had a lot of people ask me questions. Why am I being attacked? What is going on? I think I have entities. How do I protect myself? Why is it that when I raise my vibrational frequency and I feel like I'm doing really well, how come the attacks are actually worse? Okay, this is because of this frequency fence. This is because we are highly targeted right now because they don't want us to speak the truth. And a lot of us are holding very ancient grail codes in our DNA. We are holding the potentials for the activation and reactivation of our 12-strand DNA prototype, our silicate matrix, diamond sun DNA, human angelic prototype. Let us just kind of talk about, some of these attacks. What can they feel like? So a lot of it can be subtle. A lot of it can be really intense. So one time in the beginning of my awakening, I've had this happen to me several times. My attacks have been pretty intense, to be honest, through the last 13 years of my journey. But in the very beginning, when I was rapidly raising my vibrational frequency, I noticed that, and this was very new to me at the time, I noticed that I started to get attacked really, really bad. And so I literally had this entity attach itself to me, and I could feel it because I was very depressed. I was having suicidal thoughts. I couldn't breathe. I felt like this being was siphoning my life force, siphoning my energy. It was like everything, was happening, negatively. All of these bad things kept happening in my life. And I was working really hard to raise my vibration at the time. And I was flying pretty high. And the higher I started to step into my mission, the more intense the attacks got for me. And I had to learn this the hard way. It was a very, very challenging experience that actually traumatized me so much. So one time, this was like months in, this entity attached itself to me, and it literally was siphoning my breath. I could not breathe. I was like breathing through a tube, and I was freaking out and crying at my partner, my beloved. And he said, "Do I have to take you to the hospital?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but I can't breathe." And then I felt like I got very small. I felt like my whole world was just caving in on me. And this being literally tried to take over my body as a form of possession. It was very intense. So this is just one example of a lot of the experiences that we can go through. I have currently, I have developed a lot of spiritual tools, dark arts training, and I've raised my vibrational frequency enough to be able to use my higher sensory perception to see, these entities, to see these spots in my light body, and to be able to protect myself much better than I used to back in the day when I was newly awakening and I had no idea what was happening. And so sometimes they can feel subtle. I believe in my last video, one of my videos where I was talking about twin flame activations and how twin flames can be highly targeted. I highly recommend you checking out that video. It's also really, really important. It's the same thing for Lightworkers, Starseeds, and Indigos. When we awaken, we are removing ourselves from our lower personality matrix, right? So the frequency bands of red, orange, and yellow, we're starting to evolve beyond them, and we're being activated in the higher spectrums, the higher frequencies. Okay, so the heart chakra, is green, and the higher heart is blue. And then we have the throat, the blue, the indigos, and we start vibrating in these higher colors. And we start tapping into those dimensions and these harmonics and frequency bands of these realms. These beings, there are, polarity in each dimension. These beings can see that. Now, specifically the ones on Earth who have been controlling us here, they can see when you're breaking out of their frequency fence. And so they will try to stop you in your mission. They will attack you. They can attack you through your loved ones. Things can happen to your life that just seem so chaotic, and you don't understand, why are all these bad things happening to my life when you're actually keeping a very high vibration. This can, it could be body pain, a lot of severe body pain. A lot of the things I get sometimes from people is extreme pain in their back, in their womb space, severe headaches. And one of the really bad things that I experience personally is electronic harassment. So anytime I'm trying to do like these kind of videos, whether I'm on my phone, on my computer, speaking, working with clients, there's an electronic harassment that I feel through their AI frequencies. I literally will feel burning throughout my whole body, throughout my face. I get migraine headaches. I get blurred vision. A lot of things are very uncomfortable, although sometimes they can feel subtle. They're really not, because it's electronic harassment. As a matter of fact, where it got really bad for me was when I really started to step up and teach. Anytime that I was on the computer, I literally would burn so bad that I couldn't be on the computer. And I started to lose my hair, actually, in clumps. It was pretty frightening. Other things that can happen is, entity attachments, where you're having like negative thoughts that are not yours. These can be like really dark thoughts that you're almost very surprised that you're thinking, like, you suicidal thoughts, depression, weak emotional body. You find yourself getting sick a lot, like ending up with like chronic ailments and sicknesses. So many different things, like I said, that can feel subtle. But a lot of the people that work with me, a lot of the clients that confide in me, I am noticing a lot of very similar symptoms. And so we have to understand that, especially those who are stepping up in truth, stepping up, as a star seed on their mission, and really taking charge to be at the forefront as a spiritual steward. You are the ones that are going to, be targeted the most. And so again, it's just understanding that this is happening, understanding that, we're weaving in and out of dimensions, and that we really are breaking free from this fallen matrix in which these negative beings have had us confined in for eons of time. They are fighting for their survival. They are fighting for control. They are trying to stop us from ascending. They're trying to stop the plasma, the sun, the grids. They're trying to stop it all, and they just can't anymore. And they're losing control, and they know it, and so they're angry and they're cornered. And that is why you see all of the destruction playing out in the world since the pandemic. It's heightened spiritual warfare. It's going to stay this way for some time, because we truly are in the pinnacle of spiritual warfare. We truly are in that end times, battle where, we're fighting, they're fighting for control over planet Earth. And the vibrational frequency of Earth is rising rapidly. We are also receiving a lot of highly charged plasma into our bodies and onto the planet. And so the more we work with these frequencies, the more we tune in and tap in and bring these frequencies into our body through, raising our own personal vibrational frequency, through doing our shadow work, our emotional clearing. These things I will always teach because it's so important that we do these prerequisites, okay? The shadow work, the emotional clearing, clearing out the trauma, the ancestral path cutting, changing our thoughts, our patterns, our programs, our belief systems, right? Shifting and transcending our karma. All of these things keep our vibrational frequency low. And as we begin to pull down more frequency that's coming onto the planet, right? And we start to merge with that and we keep raising our vibration, it does get a little easier because now we are bringing in more light into our body and we're activating our light body. And so the attacks become stronger, but what's happening is you also become stronger because you are healing your lower center emotions. And these entities cannot attach themselves to you as easily the more you raise your frequency, because they attach themselves to weak spots in your aura. They attach themselves to your anger, your sadness, your grief, all of the things that you're carrying, even your subconscious memories and programs that you're unaware of. They can attach themselves to that. Okay. Where it gets easier is that the more you understand, the more you draw awareness to what's taking place by listening to what I'm saying here right now and just understanding that these attacks are real. Starseeds, indigos, everyone is highly attacked, especially the more we raise our frequency, okay? It doesn't just turn into love, light, and bliss. When we say, we're now tapping into 5D consciousness and higher, it doesn't just turn into love, light, and bliss. I mean, to give you an example, we have beautiful angels that became fallen that existed in, 12D. As a matter of fact, Metatron became fallen, and he was or that being, not he, it was a 15-dimensional Rishik entity that became fallen. So we can fall at any level. Okay, there's a specific point that we reach when we get into the higher levels, which comes way later in life. These are like the highest ascended master levels where you don't become fallen, where you can't become fallen. But we live in this duality system, and it's very tricky. And as we begin to ascend and we become more galactic again, we're going to have bigger bigger issues. Everything's going to become greater in every way that you can imagine. So we have to know that all of the light and all of the dark, exists. We have to understand the polarity, and we have to understand the tools, and be able to really just activate our higher sensory perception, activate all of our abilities, and truly become, that spiritual warrior. And knowing what to do in the face of adversity, knowing what to do when we feel these attacks coming on. There's a lot of beautiful tools that we can actually do in this human form. We obviously want to meditate each and every day. We want to pray. We want to do what's called 12D light shielding, where you're literally bathing yourself in Christ frequencies, and you're putting this beautiful pillar of 12th dimensional crystal light around your fields. You want to take Epsom salt baths. You want to eat well, drink structured water. There's a lot of beautiful tools that I always recommend for people to use. Essential oils help, rose oil, lavender oil. All of these beautiful things are great tools. But the most important tool of all is really your own awareness, your own consciousness, your own understanding, consciousness expansion, knowing the world we live in, understanding it at the highest capacity, because knowledge truly is power. And when we know that these attacks are happening, we will know how to strengthen it and come back to center, come back to 0 point. Okay, so some of the things, like I said, can feel subtle. Other times these attacks can be very intense. I do know a couple of starseeds, personal, real good, dear friends of mine, who are being so attacked that they're barely making it. They're having a very hard time, because these beings, they are a very high, potent starseed who is very ancient and carrying a lot of wisdom codes to anchor them into this planet right now for this ascension to help liberate humanity. And they are so severely attacked that it just breaks my heart. I have stories that are just so mind-blowing at the amount of trauma and things that I've seen fellow starseeds particularly have to go through. There have actually been instances where, they've even got to them, and some of them, took their own lives at some point. I've witnessed some really intense things over the duration of my ascension journey. So again, for me, it's all about, just sharing these truths with you, sharing the wisdom that I've attained and the understanding to help assist you on your journey. This is never to cause fear. Those of you who know me and work with me know that I am not ever here to cause fear. But sometimes the truth can be very scary. It can be very frightening. It can be intimidating. But we do have to just know and understand that our existence is not rainbows and butterflies. That's a part of it. But as you know, at this stage in the game of your awakening, you can see everything that's playing out, okay? There's just a lot of darkness. And unfortunately, this planet has been fallen, okay? And whenever you see the darkness, it is the absence of light. It is the absence of God. And our planet has unfortunately existed within the dark ages in darkness for so long. And a lot of us have been disconnected from our direct source, God source connection to God, to Goddess, to our higher self. And, we haven't been able to feel God in our hearts and souls and on this planet for so long because of these invaders. And we are now in this time where we are being really, truly reconnected back to God, back to love, back to truth, back to compassion, back to wisdom. And some of these wisdom codes are not always going to be pleasant. We are going to start remembering our galactic history and what happened to the human angelic races and even the starseeds. Okay, we live in a galactic, our existence, we are cosmic citizens. Our history is it's galactic, and I always tell people the Star Wars movies, the sci-fi movies, they are truly documentaries. Okay, that is truly our existence. Okay, but we've been confined with very little knowing about the vastness of our existence and all of our memories. And they're going to start coming online slowly. Okay, so do not be afraid of it. It is absolutely a beautiful process that we are coming back into knowing about who we are and how we got here and why we're here and who our creators are. And, with that comes knowing the dark side. But once we know the dark side, we can witness it and face it and understand it, and then we can integrate it. And ultimately, you ascend your consciousness to a point where you're just a neutral observer, compassionate witness, and you are able to come into this 0 point center, okay, that brings us back outside of polarity and puts us in what's called the neutral zone, where you are literally just in this state of unconditional love for all of creation, and you are just in neutrality, and you're witnessing everything, just like God, just like the universe, the witness, and you're just observing all of creation, okay? So again, this is a process. This is the process of awakening. So I just wanted to share, about the attacks, how they're definitely a thing, to not be afraid. We're all going through some level of attack right now. Just know that we are in this together, and that, none of you are alone, because we are all experiencing these things. And there's a lot of beautiful information out there. Just be very careful with who you trust these days. Of course, use your discernment, use your intuition. And I always say, if there's anything you need, please feel free to reach out to me. I have a lot of beautiful offerings on my website. You can go to soulharmonics.org. I have a lot of beautiful offerings and guidance, and I'm always happy to be of highest spiritual service to you during these times. Okay. My YouTube channel has a lot of awesome teachings and guidance in my cosmic classroom. Please, feel free to check all of those videos out. So stay strong, my loves. I know these are very trying times. It's so important that, especially all of my fellow Starseed, Indigo, Lightworkers who are tuning in, for us to really come together in our consciousness, in our hearts, in our light body, to continue to anchor in these codes, to continue to raise our frequency so that we can truly be a vessel of these higher frequencies, and allow our body to just be an acupuncture point inside of the planetary grids, connecting as one, so that we can beam in this healing, these healing rays of love light back onto the planet, and that we stick together in love and we amplify our frequency together by doing the work that we do. It is so important that we all stay strong, but be easy on ourselves along the way. Because I know, as a starseed myself, I put so much pressure on myself for this mission, and we really can't do that. Just by being here right now is enough. Just by showing up each and every day and being in this body, holding this light, holding the light in the face of all of this adversity and integrity for all of our brothers and sisters across the globe is a beautiful thing. Okay, so I love you all so dearly, and it's an honor to be walking this journey with you. Let us just take a moment to close this session. Thank you, my beloved holy presence of God, Crystal Star Aurora, my guardian family, our spiritual guides and angels of the highest order of God and light. Thank you for being here with us, for holding our hand and comforting our hearts as we continue to walk this journey and traverse our way through this fallen matrix. It is a blessing to be here with all of you. Please continue to fortify our strength and our light fields so that we can be bathed and protected in your eternal holy living light, always centered in love, in compassion, in neutrality, as a beacon for all of the world to find their own strength, their own love, and healing, as we are beacons, conduits, and vessels of your light. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. So thank you for tuning in. This is Cosmic Classroom, and I will see you next time. I see you, I honor you, and I love you.